is actually your own God-given ability to produce possibilities. All right? Your own God-given ability to produce or see and produce possibilities. In other words, you can see something that is just possible to do. And so we have to be careful to make sure that we align our creative ability up with His will. Because just because you can imagine a thing doesn't mean that it's for you to do. And we always have to be careful there. Because we can imagine great things for ourselves. And that's when it becomes all about us. You know, now a couple of verses I want to take you to. 1 John chapter 5 and verses 14 and 15. Write that down if you're taking notes. But 1 John chapter 5 verses 14 and 15, it reads as follows. Now this is the confidence that we have in Him, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. And if we know that He hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have the petition that we have asked of Him. So if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. But it has to be according to His will. So you can have this big vision or this great idea in your mind about something that you want to do and actually can do it. But is it according to His will? It has to be according to His will. You with me? Now, James chapter 4, verses 1 through 3, 1, 2, and 3, reads as follows. Where do wars and fights come from among you? Do they not come from your desires for pleasure that war in your members? You lust and do not have. You murder and covet and cannot obtain. You fight in war. Yet you do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on your own pleasures, on your pleasures. Now the word amiss means out of proper order. You ask for things out of proper order, and that's why we ask and don't receive. And so we have these visions and these ideas that we're asking God to bless. We're asking God to put His hand on it. We're asking God to help it, to make it succeed. And God is saying, no, you're asking that for the wrong reason. It may be a good thing, but not necessarily a God thing for you. And now somebody else could turn around and do the same thing and get away with it because it's in line with who they are and what they're supposed to be doing. But as for you, as an individual, it may not be the thing that God has called you to do. And so you may ask for it because somebody else got it, but you don't get it. You ever been there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the man, this is a heart issue problem. And as we talk to the body of Christ and we talk to church, this is absolutely a heart issue problem. Because the further our heart is away from God, the further away the vision of God will be from us.
Absolutely.
And if I can get my heart right, then God can deal with my heart, and then something unique happens. The desires become His will. Yeah. And if we can open up our heart and allow God to mold it and shape it and pull out of some of these things in us that need to be in us, then somehow, some way, it's almost like a mystery. The better condition the heart is in, the more in line with God's will we become.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's amazing because we often don't consider what needs to take place in us in order to become what God showed us. I tell people all the time, you can't just don't focus on so much on doing. Focus on becoming. If you become that, then you will by nature do that. You see what I'm saying? If you become it, don't just try to do it, become that. It's got to happen on the inside. It's got to happen on the inside. A few years ago, I was driving. Can I share this with you? God just spoke to me out of the blue. He said, you need to learn the difference between what you want and what I'm saying. And now that was a blow for me because at the time I thought I knew. But it was clear that I didn't by the statement that He made. You need to learn the difference between what you want and what I'm saying. And sometimes our will can be so strong, we can be so self-willed or selfish, strong-willed, that we think this loud desire on the inside of us, we think it's God. And it's not God, it's just us. If something you want so badly that you can't even hear God because your will is screaming louder than his voice. And God is not going to have a shouting match with you. He's not going to have a shouting match with you. He will step right back and let you run your course until you get tired of running into that brick wall, you run out of gas or whatever the case is, and you realize you got to come right back to him, and now you need to be quiet and listen. And that's what happened to me. I had to come to a point where I just kind of ran out of gas. Because you can be so good at something that you can become a legend in your own mind. You think you got it going on. You can just do it. You don't need no help. You can just go out there and do it. And you probably all good at it. We probably all good at it. But how much better would you be at it if you allowed the hand of God to be upon it?